So, let's dive into a classic story from the court of the great Emperor Akbar. Now, you might think this is just an old folktale, but trust me, it's so much more. It's actually an amazing case study on the one thing that drives all of us, the one thing that can make human beings do the absolute unthinkable.
It all kicks off with this one seemingly simple question from the emperor. What is the biggest thing in the world? Seriously, take a second. What would you say? The sun? An ocean? Just tuck that answer away for a little bit as we see how this whole thing plays out.
Okay, so picture this. We're in Emperor Akbar's court, but the vibe is off. It's tense. And why? Because the emperor's go-to guy, his favorite advisor, the super smart Birbal, isn't there. And the other ministers? Well, they're getting pretty antsy about it.
Right, so this impatience starts to bubble over into some serious jealousy. The ministers see an opening, and they take it. They go right to the emperor and say something like, "Hey, why do you always listen to Birbal? Give us a shot. We can prove we're smarter, that we're more dependable." They basically want his job.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. The emperor, he's no fool. He sees right through their little power play, but he decides to go with it. He says, "All right, you want a chance? You got it. I'll ask you one single question. But let me be clear, there are some conditions."
And oh boy, does he lay down the law. He tells them, answer my question and you'll have my ear over Birbal. But if you fail, you're all suspended for 3 months and you won't get paid. All of a sudden, their arrogant little challenge has some very, very real stakes.
So with their jobs and their pride hanging in the balance, they accept. But here's the catch. The clock is ticking. The emperor has given them just 1 day. They have until sunset to figure out the answer to his riddle. The race is on. You can practically watch them fall apart as the day goes on. They start the morning, walking tall, super confident. But by noon, it's just chaos. They're arguing, pointing fingers, panic is setting in, and as the sun starts to dip below the horizon, they're just done, totally defeated.
And this is where everything changes. One of the ministers finally says what they're all secretly thinking. Their only shot, their last hope, is to swallow their massive pride and ask for help from the one guy they were trying to push out.
And so, there they are, a group of desperate ministers showing up at Birbal's house. These aren't the same arrogant guys from this morning. Now they're just defeated men, ready to do pretty much anything for an answer.
I mean, their plea says it all, doesn't it? Just save us. In that moment, the power has completely shifted. They've handed all the cards to Birbal, telling him they'll do whatever it takes if he can just get them out of this mess.
And Birbal, he sees his chance and comes up with this wild idea. He agrees to help, but there are conditions, and they are bizarre. He wants them to treat him like a king. 4 of them have to literally carry his chariot. Others have to carry his slippers, his shawl. I mean, can you even imagine the humiliation?
And the craziest part, they do it. They actually agree. These proud, jealous, powerful men carry their rival into the royal court on their own shoulders. I mean, what a sight that must have been. It's this huge, symbolic moment, and it perfectly sets the stage for what's about to happen next.
The emperor is completely stunned when he sees this procession. He's like, Birbal, what on earth is going on? And Birbal, well, he's just made his point without saying a single word. Now, he's finally ready to answer the emperor's question.
But he starts with, you guessed it, another little riddle. He tells the emperor that the biggest thing in the world, well, it's not something you can see, it's not something you can measure, it's something a whole lot deeper.
And the answer? It's need. Birbal says that need is the biggest thing in the entire world. And why? Because it's endless, it's infinite. And more importantly, it has the power to make anyone, no matter how proud or powerful, feel small and do things they swore they never would.
And if you look at it this way, it makes perfect sense. Think about it. The minister's pride, it was sky high. But their need to save their jobs, to save face, that was even higher. And that overwhelming need forced them to do something completely unheard of, carry their rival into court like a hero.
Then Birbal turns to the ministers and just lays it all out. He says, look at you. Yesterday, you hated my guts. Today, because you needed me so badly, you carried me on your own shoulders. He literally used them as living proof of his answer. Brilliant, right?
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, this story shows us that need is maybe the most powerful motivator there is. It can push people to swallow their pride and do things that seem absolutely impossible. It's also a pretty good reminder to not get all jealous of what other people can do because, hey, you never ever know when you might be the one who needs their help.
And that kind of brings it all back to us, doesn't it? This story from centuries ago is really a mirror. So it leaves us with one last question to think about. What need, whether you see it or not, is the biggest thing driving your life right now?